And here we are for game two. Once again, I am the first player. Um, I think the choice here is between Matrix Warden and Light Shield Patrol. Um, Matrix Warden is a great card to have leveled. Uh, Light Shield Patrol, as we saw last game, Light Shield Patrol, when it works, is very strong. I do have quite a few Enrages in this deck, and even the Grove Huntress on a Light Shield 1 can cause some problems. So I think I'm going to start out with the Light Shield Patrol. I think I've been liking Light Shield Patrol in this kind of deck that has a lot of buffs. And again, maybe we even see our second Matrix Warden next turn. And Matrix Warden 1 is just such a good card, even at even when it's underleveled. And that's whereas the Light Shield Patrol, if I don't level it, I'm probably not going to get any value out of it for the whole game. Light Shield Patrol that's a level behind is really hard to use. This hand, I definitely level the War Charger. War Charger is just a potential game winner. I can't imagine not leveling it. Grove Huntress on the Light Shield Patrol is very attractive. Grove Matriarch is also not a bad play. The strength in numbers not good this early in the game. I mean, yes, it's the case that I could play out like War Charger and then strength in numbers the Light Shield Patrol to activate it, but in this type of board position where I only have one creature, the strength in numbers is just so much worse than a Grove Huntress. Oh, that's interesting. That would reevaluate here. So, well, the Grove Huntress onto the Light Shield Patrol is no longer a good move, because the Light Shield Patrol is going to die regardless. Yeah, I guess the only way that I could save my Light Shield Patrol, I could both Grove Huntress and Strength in Numbers it, which would bring it up to 8 defense with 8 health with armor 2. Yeah, that's certainly too many resources to invest in a Light Shield at this point in the game. So I think he spent 2 cards on this Glacial Colossus. I'm going to need to spend 2 cards to deal with it. That's perfectly fine. It doesn't really matter what cards, from my point of view. Not as long as I'm leveling a good set of cards, I don't really care what I'm spending on the Glacial Colossus. So I'll definitely toss out the War Charger. And I put War Charger in the middle lane because let's run combat. He might move his Glacial Colossus to lane 2. Then, if I have my War Charger here, it gives me the option of moving the War Charger over to kill the Glacial Colossus. Or the option of moving it out of the way if I decide that I have a better option. So I'm going to Grove Huntress onto the War Charger. So Grove Huntress is threatening to kill his Colossus, and my War Charger has the option of moving over to lane 2. He's probably going to hit me for 9, but that's life. What I don't want to see here, of course, is like a Nargoth Bruiser. If he bruisers my... Oh, no. Wow. Interesting. So he's all in on that jetpack strategy. The problem with what he's doing... I mean, it's certainly putting a ton of pressure on me early game. The problem with what he's doing is that is that by leveling the jetpacks, he ends up in a situation later in the game where he... What am I trying to say? He ends up with a situation later in the game where he might draw the leveled up jetpacks without good things to play them on, and that can lead to some really awkward draws. So this is 10-13. I want to level my Lurker because the Lurker is one of the few cards that can actually kill a level 2 Glacial Colossus, and he has multiple level 2 Glacial Colossus. So I'm going to spend a Um, probably um, I mean, I could obviously use the Lurker to block his Glacial Colossus in lane 3, but he's just going to move out of the way if I do that. So I'm going to move here. I will Matrix Warden. So now the War Charger is threatening to trade against his Glacial Colossus, and this Glacial Colossus will be... okay, so I'm taking some damage early, as is he, and I think I'm leveling. I think I like the set of cards that I'm leveling better than the set of cards he's leveling, although he could potentially get some very scary player level 2 draws. Battle Tactician. I don't mind the Battle Tactician. In particular, I can Nexus Pilot opposite the Tactician, so that's not a serious problem for me. I think I'm now going to play Lightbringer Cleric. Getting a little bit of life after that start would be nice, and Lightbringer Cleric is a reasonably good threat mid-game. Interesting. So I got my Matrix Warden. This actually isn't a great time to get my Matrix Warden, because I'd like to save the Matrix Warden for once he has out a level 2 Glacial Colossus, since Matrix Warden is an answer to that Colossus. Let's see. So, think I'm happy to level in Enrage. Yeah, I think I'm happy to level in Enrage. Probably Enrage my Cleric, and then Matrix Warden will buff itself. Very nice. This is getting some good draws here at the beginning of player of rank 2. In particular, the Grove Huntress may be necessary to save my Matrix Warden if he tosses out something. I guess, actually, let me think. If you think for a second, what is he? Really, the only creature, is that true? The only creatures he's leveled are Defenders plus his Battle Tactician? Is that, he's another Battle Tactician. Let me look at the game log here. So he played Colossus Jetpack, and then Tactician Alpha, and Magma Hound. I guess he's got the Magma Hound. Magma Hound is really what he wants to block the Matrix Warden with, but he did not get that. So I think here that I play Grove Huntress buffing the Matrix Warden. In particular, buffing the Matrix Warden ensures that the Matrix Warden can kill whatever he puts in front of it. And then the question, I guess, is whether to play the War Charger into lane 2 or lane 3. I guess I'll put it in lane 2. So I know that he has jetpacks leveled, and I don't want to give him anything good to do with those jetpacks, so I'm just going to play over on the other side of the board here. Getting a lot of pressure on him early game, which feels good. Or actually, I guess we're into the mid game now, but getting a lot of pressure on him, which feels good. Alpha 3 is the card that I'm most afraid of him winning the game with. But if I can keep the pressure on, it's unlikely he'll get an Alpha 3 in time. Glacial Colossus 3, note, is a lot worse than Alpha 3. Glacial Colossus is better at levels 1 and 2, but Alpha 3 is just a beast. If he puts a jetpack on an Alpha 3, it can be very difficult for me to answer, even with spending 2 quality cards, might not kill it. So that's his that's his best game plan for winning. Glacial Colossus is certainly not a bad card late game. 16-19 is solid stats, but um, uh, if you're spending 2 cards on a creature, the difference between 19 health and 26 health. When I say spending 2 cards, because you're also having to put a jetpack on it in order for it to be scary. But yeah, really the Glacial Colossus is great early to mid game, but the level 3 power of Glacial Colossus is just not nearly where Alpha is. Okay, so he plays the Glacial Colossus. It kills my Matrix Warden, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. I've still got two creatures on the board. And lane 5 will clear, so I can go move my War Charger over and attack him for 9. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so interesting that he chose to play the Tactician there. Some people, I probably in that situation would have played the Tactician to 3 instead of to 4, just because um, the War Charger can easily avoid the Tactician. Although, as it turns out, I drew Nexus Pilot, which means that killing the Grove, yeah. Because I drew my Nexus Pilot, he really didn't need to kill my Grove Huntress. I'm probably going to overwrite my own Grove Huntress. Let's see. I'm going to enrage the War Charger, get more damage through, and then I'm going to overwrite with my... Questionable whether overwriting was the right play there. I could have also played Delver into an empty lane to develop another threat, but an underleveled Delver just isn't a very impressive threat. Hioranti Bolts. That actually worked out very well for me. I can use Matrix Warden, buff the Nexus Pilot, kill his Glacial Colossus, and then play out Cleric into an empty lane. And then I'd rather have my War Charger in 4 instead of 5. Obviously, I don't know what he drew, but I haven't given him a turn yet where Jetpack 2 would have been a good play. And so I think it's very possible that he drew Jetpack 2 at some point and didn't have a good way to play it, which is the danger of leveling your jetpacks early. Generally, when I play this type of Defenders deck, I keep my my jetpacks a level behind, because a level 1 jetpack is still good mid to late game, and so I'm generally happy to level my big defending creatures early in the game, and then wait on playing my jetpacks until later on. This is forced. Interesting. Yeah, so I wasn't able to get good use out of his Battle Tactician there, which is a small victory for me. I'm going to toss out Lightbringer Cleric, and then also he wasn't able to level a Forge Guardian Alpha. He did level Glacial Colossus, so he has Glacial Colossus 3, but not Forge Guardian 3. And I think that I want to do more damage to him here, so I'm going to just toss out the Strength in Numbers. The Strength in Numbers isn't an especially strong play, but the 13 health is just going to be a little bit harder for him to answer. Yeah, exactly, because of things. Doing 12 damage, or doing 10 to 12 damage is a lot easier than doing 13 damage. So here, I enrage the, oh, haha, nope, actually this is game. So, that was game 2. Started out 2-0. You should come back and see whether or not we can pull off a 3-0 with this deck. Thanks a lot.